God. Ask God.
Hi, Scott. My name is Cynthia, and I am a new podcast listener. I'm into podcast number 17 now, and I really love the information that you're giving the audience, and I think it's very valuable and useful. And I also attended the webinar, which was great as well. Thank you so much for what you do. My question is, once you've found a product that you like to make modifications to after looking at reviews and looking at the competitor and what they have out there, do you need to have that product patented? I'm kind of unclear because it sounds like you're doing modifications to an existing product, but if that product is modified to your liking, that's your product, and you don't necessarily want anybody to mimic that or have the supplier sell that to someone else. So do you need to get a patent, or does that even work with doing this type of business? I'm kind of unclear about that, but if there's a podcast that you could lead me to, that would be great. And again, very much appreciated. Thank you, Scott.
Hey, Cynthia, thank you so much for the question. Thank you so much for being a listener, a new listener. And I want to say thank you. That's awesome. And I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate all the kind words. And yeah, to answer your question on patents and trademarks and all of that good stuff, I'm going to direct you to an episode that we did a little while back, episode 186. And I did an episode with Ted Limas, who is an attorney, and we talked all about that. But here's my thoughts on that. If you're going to launch a product and you're going to make some modifications to it, you can file for a patent, okay? And when you do that, it's going to be under the status of patent pending. And we just did one not that long ago. It's about $200, $250 to file that. But once you get to the stages of where you actually will be officially making it a patent and stuff, there's going to be more things that you're going to have to do. You are going to want to hire an attorney to help you with that process, and it will be more expensive at that time. But at that time, you'll probably know if the product's selling or not. So that's totally up to you if you want to go down that road, because then every product that you launch, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to file patents. That's more expense, it's more time, and all that stuff. But I also want to say that depending on where you're sourcing this from, a patent is really only as good as you're going to be able to enforce it. So if you have a patent and someone does violate that patent, you're going to have to go through all of the necessary steps to enforce that, which means hiring an attorney, having proof of all of your stuff. And, it's at that point, it's like, is it really worth it? Or can you just kind of file something through Seller Central if it's through Amazon, or have your attorney send them something to kind of almost scare them off? Like, there's nothing saying that China or wherever you're having this thing sourced isn't going to go ahead and start making it for someone else. Now, you can put something in writing, have them sign it, but again, you would have to then go after these people. And for me personally, I'm about, MVPs, which is basically minimal viable product. Like, I want to do the least amount to get a product to market to see if it's going to work before I invest a ton of time and a ton of money into protecting it. Now, if you have something that's totally unique that, you've created, you've got your own like 3D modeling, and you've got like, maybe even 3D printing done, and you've really spent a lot of time on that stuff, that's a different story. But we're talking about if you're just adding a little bit of, a different look, or maybe you just customize the handle a little bit, or whatever it is, it might not be worth your time to do that. But again, I can't say, I don't know what you've done. I don't know how extensive it is. Your thing might not even be patentable. You might not even be able to get a patent for it because it's not modified enough. So again, I would direct you to episode 186. Anyone else that's listening about patents, trademarks, or copyrights, any of that stuff, we had a deep discussion on that. And definitely I would look into that. And again, I would find an attorney that you trust with, and actually I may even have a resource on that. So by the time this airs, I may have something on the resources page. I'm supposed to have lunch with a patent attorney that lives near me. Actually, he lives in Charlotte, and we're supposed to have lunch. We've been trying to make that happen. And I may have a resource for you at that time. Right now, currently, I just say find your local patent attorney and start picking their brain. And it's going to probably cost you $100 or $200 to even talk to them. There are some services out there that it doesn't cost anything to file as far as like them to do it. It's just like the filing of the patent itself. But again, I don't have those resources off the top of my head, but I will locate something and put it on the resources page. The resources page, for any of you that don't know, is theamazingseller.com/resources. And I will have everything there for you. And that's always constantly being updated with resources of tools or things like this, patents or liability insurance or any of that stuff. That'll all be there as I become more aware of new, whether it's tools or whether it's services. I will put them on that page and keep that up to date. So, all right, hopefully that helped you, and congratulations on getting started, and keep me updated, keep me posted. I want to hear your progress, and I want to hear how you're doing. So definitely do that. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. But what I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.